Imagine dedicating your entire life to excelling in your sport. Early mornings, grueling training sessions, countless sacrifices, all for the chance to compete on a level playing field. A field in your head you can now dominate because you have put hard work into your craft. Now imagine stepping onto that field only to face an opponent with undeniable physiological advantages. How would you feel knowing that no matter how hard you've worked, the scales are tipped against you? In this case, this isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's a growing reality in women's sports. The inclusion of transgender athletes, specifically male-to-female competitors, raises difficult questions about fairness, equality, and the integrity of competition. While inclusion is an admirable goal, I argue that it must not come at the expense of fairness in sports. Sports competition. Since ancient times, sports have been designed to ensure fairness through division by gender, weight, age, and skill level. Women's sports, in particular, were established to level the playing field for those whose biological characteristics differ from men's. However, including transgender women, those who were born male and underwent male puberty, undermines this principle. Even after hormone therapy, the physiological advantages of male puberty, such as increased muscle mass, bone density, and lung capacity, often persist. Those attributes, as highlighted by studies reviewed by the International Olympic Committee, provide a performance edge that cannot be entirely neutralized through testosterone suppression. The IOC guidelines require male-to-female athletes to lower their testosterone levels below 10 nanomoles per liter for 12 months to compete in women's categories. However, this threshold is significantly higher than the typical range for cisgender women, which averages around 3 nanomoles per liter. This gap creates an uneven playing field and highlights the unfair advantages that transgender women can have in women's sports categories. Furthermore, enforcing this rule is fraught with challenges. Athletes can manipulate testosterone levels during training or struggle to maintain compliance, making consistent enforcement nearly impossible. Some experts, including those involved in revising the IOC guidelines, have argued that the threshold should not be closer to the upper limit for cisgender women, which is around 3.1 nanomoles per liter. Yet no agreement has been reached. Let's consider Fallon Fox, a transgender MMA fighter competing in the women's division. Fox's participation raised serious concerns about fairness and safety after an opponent sustained serious injuries in a match. Similarly, in track and field and weightlifting, transgender athletes have broken records, sparking outrage and disillusionment among cisgender women. Athletes who feel they are at an insurmountable disadvantage, allowing athletes feel they are at a disadvantaged advantage, allowing athletes with physiological advantages to compete in women's sports. It undermines the purpose of these very divisions. Some argue that inclusion is about more than fairness. It is about affirming identity and promoting equality. These are noble goals, but they must be balanced with the rights of cisgender female athletes to compete on an even playing field. Critics also claim that the number of transgender athletes is so small that their impact on sport is negligible. However, fairness isn't about numbers, it's about principles. Even one instance of unfair competition undermines the integrity of the entire system. Inclusion and fairness do not have to be mutually exclusive. Solutions such as creating open divisions, mixed-gender competitions, or separate categories for transgender athletes could provide opportunities for all while preserving the integrity of existing divisions. These options respect everyone's identity without compromising the core values of the sports. This debate is about more than athletics. It's about ensuring that progress toward inclusivity does not come at the expense of those it aims to uplift. Women's sports have been a hard-won space for equity, and preserving the space is essential. In conclusion, sports built on fairness, not identity, while we strive for inclusion, we must ensure that it does not compromise equality in competition. Transgender athletes deserve respect and opportunities, but not at the cost of dismantling the principles that categorize women's sports. Let us advocate for solutions that balance the inclusion and fairness, ensuring that all athletes, regardless of gender identity, can compete with dignity. Thank you.